Alright, for those that were tuned in yesterday, on one of my streams, I was covering something about life insurance, and I actually got interrupted before I could wrap that up. So I thought I would cover some of that stuff again. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, God, man, I don't want to be thinking about life insurance. I'm young and full of life. That's for old people to worry about, isn't it? And honestly, you're right. The only time you've got to worry about life insurance is when you've got dependents, when you've got people that rely on you either financially or, as a caregiver kind of thing. But as with everything, there's exceptions. You don't want your passing, your death, to result in a financial burden for someone else. And so even young people just starting out would benefit from taking a moment to set up some life insurance for themselves. And there's good reasons behind this. I could get into it, for instance, with something that just happened with my daughter. My wife and I have had life insurance for years. We didn't want either one of us to be left with a bunch of financial obligations, and the kids, in the event that either of us passed, we wanted to, whoever survived, to be able to be a full-time parent and not have to worry so much about, the mortgage and putting food on the table, things of that nature. And along with that policy, we also put insurance on the kids. Now, a parent should never have to outlive their children. Now, I'll just start with saying that. That is one of the worst things I can think of, honestly, or imagine. But it is a very real possibility. You never know when your time is up. There's only two certainties in life, death and taxes, and both of them, gratefully, you could prepare for financially. And so we had a child rider put on our policies to cover all of the kids. Our oldest daughter, she's all grown up now. She is reaching the age where she has to make a choice. She's got to either get her own insurance or convert to the child rider, or opt, as too many people do, to go without. Well, she's getting ready to get married herself. So she's getting ready to start her own life. She's engaged, so I'm sorry any of you out there whose ears pricked up when I said I had a daughter. If you were looking for a quality individual, she's definitely that, and damn good looking, but sadly she is taken. Anyway, moving on. I digress. Obviously quite proud of my daughter. But the point is that we got a letter saying that, hey, 30 days after your 25th birthday, you're no longer going to be covered under this policy. Here's what you could do. You could continue it, and there are some options. And she can either choose to continue the coverage, get her own policy, or, as I stated once before, go without. And my advice to her was to take advantage of the coverage that's there. One of the benefits of a child rider on an insurance policy is guaranteed insurability. If she had some dread disease, if she developed cancer or some heart condition or whatever, where she was deemed uninsurable, then at least, thanks to this rider that we had on our policy, she would have been able to get some coverage. And assuming she beat whatever it was or outlived her, whatever the predictions were for her life expectancy, she could have been covered even if she went on to have her own family. And so that was something that came in the mail actually on Saturday that we were talking about yesterday, and so it was on my mind. It's important to note that life insurance is a cornerstone of any financial plan. You really should, especially if you've got dependents, make sure that you've got some sort of life insurance coverage. The last thing you would want to do is to leave those not only with the grief and sorrow of your passing, but also the added burden of having to plant you in the ground and the expense that could cause, the hardship that could cause. Where's this green hoodie? Yes, I can do the green hoodie. Is that leg armor? And whatnot. I don't want to dwell too long on that. Obviously, nobody likes to think about life insurance, but it is one of those necessary evils. If you guys have questions about life insurance, by all means, hit me up on those. It so happens that I used to sell life insurance, so I'm quite knowledgeable on all the ins and outs, all the different types of policies that are out there. I have genuine recommendations for what you should get. I have some companies that I prefer, as I'm sure everybody does, but if you're interested in that, feel free to message me at fustianfinance@gmail.com. Or, send me a whisper here on Twitch or an Xbox message or something. I don't care. I'm happy to answer all that stuff. And I might actually use that as fodder for one of my other videos. But that is today's financial thought. If it's not on your mind, it should be, especially if you've got dependents and people relying on you. And the other advantage to looking into it, if you are young, if you are just starting out, is the rates are based on your age and your health, and typically you can lock in a rate for an extended period of time. For instance, my daughter can lock in her rates for 35 years, so that is 35-year level term is what that's called. Well, the younger you get that, the cheaper your rates are. The less likely you are to have health conditions or bad habits that would end up costing you more and more money. And over time, it can save you a bundle. All right, and I think that's all I've got to say about that for right now, for today.